I made a tutorial earlier talking about how to make this flower rose on the chest of this dress, but in that tutorial I taught you another method, which is the actual method I used in achieving this particular one that you are seeing on your screen. In that my previous tutorial, I mentioned that there are several ways that you can use to make this fabric rose, and in this particular tutorial I'll be showing you another way that you can use to make this fabric rose. If you are interested in watching the previous video that I uploaded on this fabric rose, please click on the link that is currently showing up on your screen. But if you miss it up, the link to the video will also be down in the description box. My name is Oluwatosin. In case it's the first time you are seeing my channel, and you're welcome. To all my return subscribers, you're also welcome. In case you are new here, please consider subscribing, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when next I upload a new tutorial on this channel. So moving straight into the tutorial, what you'll be doing is, instead of cutting your fabric the way I cut this one, which you'll be finding out in that tutorial, you have to cut your fabric straight depending on how wide you want your rose to be. So firstly, you'll be folding your fabric straight. Just fold it to the smallest that your scissors can easily cut through, which is what I'm doing right now. So I folded mine like 6, 7, 8 times, just to fold it small in a way that my scissors can easily cut through. I know that fabrics like this, the edge is always perforated, so I have to cut out the edge first. After trimming out the edge, I measured 6 inches and I cut 6 inches. I'm using 6 inches because I want the width to be around 2.5. You know, you have to fold it into 2 to use. So when you fold it into 2, you'll still be using 1/2 inch to stitch it on the base of your rose. That's why it will end up being 2.5 inches. So if you want it wider, you just have to add to the 6 inches, and if you want it smaller, you just have to deduct from the 6 inches. But in my case, I used the width of 6 inches, and for the length, just cut as much as you know that will go around the base of your flower. So when you are done, face the wrong side to wrong side, the way I'm facing it. Don't place it equally. Place it like this and stitch from one side to the other. You will see that it will not be smooth, it will be rough. So going to the sewing machine now, look at the way I placed it. I'm facing the wrong side to wrong side and I'm stitching. It's important that you place it this way I'm placing it. The two edges should not be equal. That's when it will give you that effect that will bring that's when it gives you that coily effect. Another thing is, before you start stitching, it's advisable that you join all your pieces together. Let it be together one long like that before you start stitching this way, so that eventually it will end up being one very, very long piece of cloth instead of pieces that you've cut it out. So this is how it will be like on one edge and on the other edge, and you will see that your fabric is not smooth, it's rough. You don't have to press it so that it can give you that rough kind of effect. So don't press this at all. The next to do after this is to create a base for your flower. I lost clips of when I was creating a base for my flower, but I'm going to explain what I did. Majorly is just to cut out a perfect circle that the width, I mean how big it will be, depends on how big you want your fabric rose to be. So let's say you want it as wide as maybe 6 inches or 4 inches or 8 inches. You just have to cut a perfect circle. Fold your fabric, another fabric, into 4, as if you want to cut a 360-degree flay. So fold it into 4, and from that middle, just measure. Let's say you are trying to achieve a fabric rose that is 6 inches wide. So from that middle, just measure 6 inches as the circumference round, and then you cut it out. If you want it wider than that, you just have to add to the number, and if you want it smaller, you just have to reduce from the number. So let's use 6 for example. When you are done cutting out 6, you'll be adding 1/2 inch allowance before you cut out, because you'll be cutting 2 of that. You'll be using 1 to turn another, except you are using a base that is like maybe wadding. Some people use a base like wadding, a black wadding, or even a white wadding that you will not need to turn. But if you are using a fabric that the edge will be pulling, it's advisable that you cut 2 circles of that fabric, and then you use one to turn one first. You keep the one you are using to do the flower itself, you keep it aside. Then you cut your base a perfect circle depending on how wide you want it to be. You cut two of that. You face right side to right side for both of them and use one to turn the other. Now to pull it back to the right side after turning, you just have to cut open in between with like 1 inch. Cut it open with like 1 inch, and then cut just one side, not both of them, just one side open with like 1 inch. Then you pull it out from there, pull it to the right side, give it a very good press. When you are done with that, you now start stitching this your strap or your fabric on top of it, the one you are using to make the flower itself. You start stitching on top of it. You start from the middle, then you stitch to the second layer, to the third layer in a circular way like that, till it fills up the whole of the circle, till it fills up the whole of your base. I hope my explanation is clear. So this fabric rose is that simple and easy to make if you can just take all the steps that I mentioned earlier in this tutorial. And like I said earlier, there is another way to achieve this fabric rose, which was the way I used in achieving this particular one that you are seeing on your screen. But what I explained in this tutorial works for this fabric rose as well. If you are still interested in watching the previous one I uploaded, don't forget that the link to it will be down in the description box. Just click on the link, it takes you directly to the video, or you can just click on the box on the right side of your screen. I made a detailed tutorial on how I was able to cut and sew this old dress as well. If you are interested in watching that tutorial, please click on the box on the left side of your screen, or you can check the description box for the link to that tutorial. If you have any question, please ask me down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not, as much as possible. Please help me share my tutorial amidst your friends and loved ones. I hope you found it helpful. If it has been helpful to you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I have a detailed video on how I made the whole of this dress. The link to that video will be down in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.